So, hi everyone, this is the third video of this series of developing a full application with Golang backend and Flutter frontend. So, in the previous video, we have set up what is the server for our RESTful API, and now we have working the REST server, we have a health endpoint, we have cores, we have some middlewares in order for log the requests, and we have the base structure that we'll be using for the configuration for any other service that we get to include, like a database that we'll be adding in the future. So right now let's continue with the application. So I think, as I said in the first video, in which I explain everything about this project, and these videos are completely unscripted, so I really don't have something planned. So I like a roadmap planned out, so I just go like on the way. So I think that we could continue with the register endpoint. It's like the pretty basic endpoint that we have to use every time. So let's check. This is the database. As I said in the first video, this is a base design that I think that encapsulates everything that I need for the application. However, it may change. It may change during the development process. So we have users, and yeah, this shares something, and it's that application should include OAuth authentication. So authentication with Facebook, which is Meta, and with Google. Basically with those two, or even only with Google. But I need that. However, I think that I'm gonna leave that for the future. Right now, I'm gonna focus on the application authentication, which is the with email and with password, the typical one. So let's begin with that. I think yeah, I guess that's fine. Let's, I don't know, user ID. Yeah. So ID, email, hash, which is password, device, always, yeah, token, expires add, create add, updated add. In this case, I want to explain something. Usually, I tend to use a separated database table for the sessions, which is a session basically is a token, the token which synchronizes, which vinculates a device with an account basically for a period of time. The expiration time of that token. Yeah. So with a separated database table, I mean, I could have many sessions for a single user, which is pretty normal. You can have Facebook opened in two phones, in your computer, in your tablet, etc. However, in this case, you shouldn't be able to do that. Or should you? Yeah, the thing is that because I was thinking, my mind at that moment was, the application is a some kind of couples application. Let's imagine like paired, like birds, like someone. If you don't recognize these three names that I just mentioned, are names of couples application, because when I say that I'm gonna be developing a couples application, I'm not talking about some kind of Tinder application to find couple. No, it's an application to share with your couple, to play games with your couple, questions, diary, etc. So what I was thinking is that obviously you will have only one device, and in that one device you will have the application, you will have your session, your account, and your partner will have your his or hers devices, etc. However, since I'm using Flutter, I basically have the power to be multi-platform. So I don't know if I should allow the application, if I should deploy the application also on web, and then the users could be able to to use the web version instead of the mobile version, or use any of those two. It also has the complexity that look, because I think that the complication more than this user authentication table is for this user route table, because this is the user. This is the user. Let's say that this is the entity of the user, which is the first name, last name, gender, birth date, language, active. That's all. And well, yeah. If I want to be able to have the users to log in multiple devices, let's say in 2 phones, in the web, etc., I will need here, this is a relation one-to-one. Why? Because even though I could combine these two tables in one, the users and the users out, I like to have it separated for security reasons and for readability reasons. So I know that in this table is only concerning the authentication aspects. That, for instance, when I load, let's say that I do a fetch, when the user enters certain part of the application, it does a fetch on other users of the application. It should only retrieve the information on this table, none of the information on this table, because this table is it's authorization info, which means it's confidential. It's only for authorization purposes. So that way these two tables are separated. But the thing is that if I want the multi-platform, the multi-devices login aspect, I will have to create a new table which has a relation one-to-many. One user out can have many sessions, and then for this part is fine, but for this part, and also I'm gonna be honest, I haven't worked with user route. That way this table is like kind of poor. I think that in the future I will, when I'm implementing this, I will need to add here a token. Am I right? I think I'm right. Yeah, I have to include a token, because the provider, which could be Meta or Google or Apple, and the user ID of that user in that provider isn't enough, or I think it's not enough. You know what? Let's ask Perplexity. That's why we have technology in these days. So let's ask, if I'm developing an application which allows to register using Auth, Meta, Google, but I also want the user to have multiple sessions, which means multiple devices at one time. How should I manage that in my backends database? Let's see what Perplexity says. User session table, session ID, user ID, device identifier, access token, yeah, refresh token. Show me the relation between the users table and the sessions table with Auth. Users table has email, about provider, and created ad. unique not null. Well, this makes no sense because if it's out, it may lack an email. And sessions table has. And where's the relation between these two? Because this is users, and yeah, it's here. User, session ID, device ID, access token, refresh token. But I guess my question is, this access token shouldn't be given by the Auth provider. I mean, let's ask that. I've got a question. Is the access token given by the Auth provider? The access token is provided by the user when the other application. Access token, this is token application request to protect the source of the flow in the common flow of the grants permission. The authorization server output redirects back to your application with an authorization code. Your application then exchanges this code for an access token by making a request to the Auth provider's token endpoint. In some cases, applications can obtain access token directly. What's the life, or how long does the token last? "12 hours, 60 days, 24 hours, but guarantees login sync with wisdom. Your application redirects to user Google Auth endpoint with the client parameters, client ID, your application client's ID, redirect URI, the response type, scope, user grants permission, Google redirects back. If the user consents, Google redirects them back to your specified redirect URI with an authorization code included in the query parameters. Your backend accepts the authorization code and makes a post request to Google's token endpoint to exchange it for access and ID tokens. This request includes client ID, client secret, code, the code received from redirect URI, Google responds with an access token, refresh token if applicable, and an ID token. The ID token contains your information. Yeah. So here it will be a refresh token. I mean, I don't want an access token given by the Auth provider. I want only the refresh token, which is this token also. That's something that I have to mention. I consider the refresh and access token pattern, and I'm gonna use it. For instance, this token that I have here, it should be the refresh token. The actual access token will be, or I'll be developing it with JWT because I want it to be stateless, basically, and that's the token that will be living like for, I mean, maybe 12 hours. But the refresh token, I want it to be living like for 1 month, 2 months, maybe, or even forever. I don't know. I guess I'm overthinking, but This is pretty important, and I think that I have been 15 minutes thinking this. Users out, users out. Let me check how it will look like if I do it like that. So I will have a table called sessions. That table called sessions will have an ID, which will be a surrogate ID, a key. I mean, it will have a token, which is the refresh token, not access token. The access token will be GWT. It will have like device information and OS information, which is part of the device information, but let's keep it separated. It will have like an expiration type, expires at, but here I want to, what's the information that I get? I get the code, I get the, that's another question. Then if I get the refresh token from Google, for how long does it last? How would my backend verify it? Trying to be long-lived, yeah, I know that. Testing versus production. If your Google Cloud project is in testing mode, the first tokens may expire after 7 days. In context projects that are verified and in production, the first tokens can last indefinitely until revoked, which is obviously what I want. And token storage, using the refresh token, the response handling. Yeah, I think that expiration time can be given by me. I mean, what I wanted to verify is that I am in control of the expiration time and not Google or Meta. So let's keep it like that. Let's also add created add, and let's add updated add, which will be an update of the session. But that doesn't make sense, because if I need to, let's keep it like that, just because, just in case. And let's, in that case, I will remove from here this, and I'll be left with a pretty small table, which is basically email and hash. So what I'm saying is that I could have either an user out on a user out. However, does it make sense to have two separated tables, one for user for my own authentication and another one for OAuth authentication? I could add the provider and the provider user ID into a user's out and have all the fields to be nullable. I'll ask what does Perplexity think about it. So in my application allows either OAuth out or my or email password out. How should I manage those two in the database? One table for each one, or one for both of them? Let's see what does Perplexity say. Database schema design, unique non-email. But the thing is that the email can be null, because no. Nullable for OAuth users. You know what? I'm gonna do it as Perplexity says that it should be done. So basically here I will add provider, and I will add provider user ID, and then OAuth provider, OAuth ID, and I also copy these names because I like it. I like them more. So let's change it. OAuth provider and OAuth ID. and this can be, any of those can be nullable. The email shouldn't be unique, or I guess it could. And let's see what it says about the session. Access, refresh token, create that, last active. I don't want the last active, because then I will have to update every time a user makes a request, and that's writing operation on the database that I don't want to do. So I will change, and I will remove this updated at, and I will instead change it for something like last used. Because if this is a session, but it's only the refresh token, not the access token, which means the last use mean when was the last time that the user refreshed its token, his token, his access token, which means I will have like, maybe I won't have the specific date of when was the last time that he used the application. But if my refresh tokens last 1 hour, then I will have the information that I want. So let's remove this. User out will be this one, and then here will be this will be primary key. Token will be a string, which is a varchar. The device is also a varchar. The OS is also a varchar. The expires at is a date. The created at is a date, and the last used is a date. And also I want all of them to not be nullable, because I mean, even if I know that with with Flutter there are packages that help me to retrieve the device and the OS information if it is Android or iOS. However, I don't know if it works with web. However, in that case, I guess at the application level I will add something like to add it like unknown, which if it's not Android or iOS, then it's web. But yeah, because I don't plan to deploy on desktop application. Maybe in the future, but right now I don't know. So let's connect these two. It will be a relation of one to many, and this will be the user ID. And yeah, basically all this video was only to modify this little part of the database, but that's what I mean when I said that this is only the base. So I will leave this video at this point, because I think that it was pretty long, only me checking how to do this, and in the next video I will start with the code for the registration endpoint. So that will be everything for right now.